this going to be like a Dynasty War?
Yeah, it sounds like it. It really does sound like it. I don't know if I like it.
Yishtola, is that Final Fantasy? Whatever versus is called. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't keep up with this malarkey anymore. Do you? We read the news and it's like I have no idea.
Yeah. It's weird, but it's slated for a fall 2015 release in Japanese arcades.
I don't keep up with it.
So
it's in the arcades.
Yeah, they haven't confirmed. Well, yeah, Duodecim came out in arcades first as well. I remember right.
My memory's terrible.
We're thinking there's definitely going to be a PlayStation 4 version because the arcade hardware actually uses the PS4 as its base.
Okay.
So we may be looking forward to sometime in the spring, most likely, getting a new Final Fantasy Dissidia game.
Ooh.
No word if it's going to be on the Vita, though.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, no. I know we said they're going to be working on third-party stuff.
Meanwhile, Square Enix have announced the first game to be published under the Square Enix Collective banner.
Oh yes.
Their point-and-click mystery adventure Goetia, sorry. Yeah.
Words.
Yeah. It's been announced as being under the Collective banner, and it's actually available to play at the Square Enix booth during Paris Games Week.
Okay.
This thing is actually being developed by a France-based studio called Sushi. And it was actually because the collective feedback platform is basically Square Enix's new thing.
I see.
Which gained a 90% yes vote.
In other news, the YouTube featured work.
I would tell you, but
lies and slander.
Turned it all off. I can't tell. I'll go with yes. In terms of more news, then TalkTalk have had their own cyber attack, and there have been many advert things talking about this. If you are on Facebook, you'll have probably seen at least a few of them.
Nope.
Oh, you're lucky. It's like literally every 5 seconds there's a TalkTalk ad talking about the fact that they were hacked and what you should do.
Well, I guess it's because I'm not on TalkTalk and nobody I really know is on TalkTalk because we're all better than that. I haven't really heard much about it.
I've heard a reasonable amount.
TalkTalk.
Well, I don't promote TalkTalk because TalkTalk's one of those ones that I think
are useless.
Isn't. Yeah, it's like as soon as you have a problem, they're not good. Some people rave about them, but I think as soon as you have any need for service, they are not good. And that's not a good thing.
I've always really liked Sky because the customer service has been good, and they're pretty much the only broadband provider who have always gone for unlimited does mean unlimited.
Oh yeah, but it's
so yay them.
Kicked off a load of talks.
My BT Infinity is unlimited means unlimited. They haven't yet throttled me, and I've been abusing the shit out of their system.
Yeah, but there has been like a bunch of talks about the cyber attacks that companies have been having, because this is news. It's in BBC News because it's happened, but they're getting attacks constantly, and they're going to the government. Well, you need to do something about the fact that we're getting all of these attacks. Major corporations and providers of services are actually getting attacked constantly, and the only time you ever really hear about it is when things like this happen. And people are already going, well, I've lost X amount of £1,000 due to... The weirdest thing is, like, they call the members to ask for details about their account or to switch the PC on. And I've been with O2 on mobile and internet, and they never called me. They never asked me for any details. It was literally a case of I would call them for anything. And even if they did call me, I would then turn around and say, okay, that's cool, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
I can never understand why people will go, oh yeah, I'll just believe everything you say because you called me. But then I work for a company that does call people and just does do DPA, so...
Yeah.
That's, I suppose, the kind of thing that you have to understand.
Just a quick thing for those listening. If you're in channel, can you write the word test now, please?
See you in 30 seconds. Star Wars: The Force Awakens will stream first and only.
Forced Awaken?
The Force Awakens will stream
The
first.
Force Awakens.
Yes, The Force Awakens will stream first and only on Canadian Netflix in 2016. That's the only one that's been confirmed as yet. So the big release now in cinemas has yet to even get a confirmation for a worldwide release on streaming outside of Canada.
Yeah, the problem is that the streaming agreements are still hard to negotiate.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, this is part of the thing with YouTube Red that I didn't put down in the news, but we can talk about that. Yeah.
Especially with Netflix, is once your agreement runs out and if you've extended it, you can't actually just leave it on the page. Netflix actually has to take it off and put it back on on the same day.
Yeah.
Which can get confusing because it may remove it from your list.
Yeah, all good fun. Relevant news to some gamers. Payday 2. We've mentioned the microtransactions and some of the...
Oh yeah, Alex told me what the final day, their big event was at the end.
Oh good. Well, they had
was it about the Reddit AMA that happened?
Yeah, they had an AMA explaining the reasoning behind why they did this and how, based on their numbers, people are happy with microtransactions.
Oh, I bet that down like a little balloon.
The infographics that were shared of the Metacritic score, all of the comments, and there were quite a few, tweets. Oh boy, it was harsh. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I had the word bloodbath in comparison. Is that fair? I've yet to see anything about this. I haven't researched it at all yet. So
I believe they actually removed the paying for the drills thing on the last day. They still dropped the safes.
Yeah.
Most of which contained a new mask for players.
oh wow,
It was
masks.
troll face.
You got talked over there,
Actually,
Felix.
a troll face mask for the final big event day.
Really?
Really, it's like it's the best way to just flip the bird to the players, really, isn't it?
It's like, yeah, we were really trolling you. It's like, oh,
It's like, what happened to Overkill, man?
I got a funny feeling that there's been a management change.
Yeah, I'm not too sure really because it's been a case for quite a while now that the console players of Payday 2 have been getting increasingly pissed off because they've not had any of the fixes that have been promised for about 2 years now. Whilst they're still always just making content to sell mainly on the PC platform.
Yeah, if it's patch related, it may be some of the patch negotiations because I know you have so many patches or allowed so many updates. It's weird.
But still, the better part of 2 years without actually fixing most of the basic problems.
I know. Moving on then.
You mentioned YouTube Red.
Yeah, I want to discuss that. I've got a couple of things before we hit the obviously picked on discussion topic. Jermaine Greer. I'm not a major follower of her, but apparently there are calls to ban her from lectures over her comments about the trans community.
Don't even get me started on this. Just don't. We will be here for the rest of the show.
We will. And we'll just get more
rant.
complaints again, so...
So TK is going to be writing 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 word essay on the subject and putting it on TigerTails.
Nah, I really can't be asked that much hassle. It basically summarizes down to freedom of speech, bitches. You may not like what she has to say, but you should at least give her the right to say it.
Yeah, otherwise your
She's
argument...
not free from the repercussions. She had the right to say what she wanted to say. People didn't like it, said, we'd prefer if you don't talk here. Please go find another platform if you wish to continue further.
Yeah,
and then she complains that she's not being allowed to speak.
No,
that's
not
quite it,
true.
though.
She was invited there. Some people kicked off and said, actually, we don't want this. Let's boycott. And then it all escalated from there. But she was invited there to start with. It wasn't her going, I want to choose this as a platform. It was the platform inviting her to attend.
And then everyone else going, but we don't agree with your opinions over something you're not going to be talking about, so we don't want you here. It's like, I don't necessarily agree that Seb Blatter is a brilliant president for FIFA, but if he's going to talk at me for half an hour, I don't mind, because I can wear earplugs.
It's like, yeah, you can tell me your opinions. Go ahead. Just allow me the courtesy to tell you when you're wrong, or how you're wrong,
Yeah.
or why you're wrong.
Yeah. But moving on, another interesting thing, probably will get some rants. Bacon.
As in the church of?
As in, the WHO have now confirmed that processed meats do officially give you cancer, so therefore bacon is officially bad for you.
Wow! Bacon's bad for us! Fucking news flash! Who would have suspected that? This processed food full of salt and death and fat is bad for us! Woo! And it took the World Health Organization to figure that out! Wow! What a bunch of geniuses they are at their end! They should have come to me. I could have told them for much cheaper than whatever research they spent. That's my opinion.
But you
it's a
just
good
missed the
way.
point entirely, that TK, didn't you?
Huh?
They're not saying it's unhealthy because of fat. They're saying we've actually found a link to something
They,
else.
they've confirmed.
They've confirmed
it
a link
increases
to cancer by 0.08%. Ooh! I've got more chance of getting cancer by eating too many blue fucking
TK,
Smarties.
lean the fuck away from your microphone. You're clipping fucktard.
No, I'm clipping on your mic. On the main mic, I'm fine because the compressor deals with it.
Yeah, his compressor does a lot of work.
It does, yeah.
Oh, so yeah, so
Say goodbye ears.
I'll move
Lean back.
I'll move the chat mic over here.
yeah, so
Is that better? Can you still hear me?
Or buy
Yeah,
something
we
with a
can hear
10 decibel roll-off button. Man, I could do with one of those.
So RedTube or YouTube Red.
RedTube.
YouTube Red. Most certainly
YouTube
YouTube
Red.
Red. Definitely not RedTube. Do not confuse the two.
Although that gag has been made
Oh, yes.
many times now. So there's been the big announcement for the subscription service for YouTube. So in brief for what they're offering, you will get access to no ads. You will have no ad YouTube viewing for $9.99 a month if you live in the US of A. You will also have background streaming or background play. I can't remember exactly the terminology, but that wasn't one of the things I was interested in. You will also have access to Google Play or Google Music, is it?
Google Music, yeah.
And you have vice versa if you already have Google Music. So that is actually quite worth it, 2-for-1 service. You will also have access to the exclusive YouTube content, which you can take or leave to begin with, to be honestly.
I'm going to mostly leave
And-
it.
Yeah, as well as downloads, offline play, which for someone like myself is quite good because I do a lot of commuting where I don't really have access to proper Wi-Fi, proper 4G, because trains don't drive past many Wi-Fi masts.
Odd that.
Yeah, and
I thought the YouTube app already had offline viewing.
It used to.
yeah,
It doesn't anymore. Hasn't done for a little while.
it's now a service behind the subscription, and there's been a fair few things that have already been put on in terms of exclusive shows, or they're confirming for next year. The biggest issue with this has been over how the subscription is worked out around the YouTube creators, because one of the main things is that they're promoting is that your money will go to your favorite creators rather than advertising and the bizarre advertising thing. Now, at the moment, how they separate the advertising revenue is based on a large number of different measures, two of which are the weight of the advert that's assigned to the video. So if it's Cadbury's or if it's random YouTuber X, for example, and how
It's
long
always
you watch the
random
advert.
YouTuber X going, when I tell you about something, don't click skip right now.
Yeah.
Click skip.
Mine's the 5-second advert about the financial thing that actually sits there in the right amount of time for me to go, yeah, one day I'll actually may even look at that.
But that's not trading 256 or whatever it is it?
Yeah, it's trading 256. It's the
Just don't. It's the biggest fucking scam I've ever had the mispleasure of watching.
Never mind. But so those are the main metrics on on the advertising base, and it's all based on more technical configuration called CPM, which is cash per miller or mil, which is the 1 in 1,000 person who actually clicks on the advert and buys something. And that's what advertisers buy in terms of advertisement bulk. They buy per miller. And your advertising, your views are then worked out and then divided by your effective CPM, which is the weighting of what adverts you have against the views you actually have. So even though you have, say, 1,000 views, which could potentially get you, say, $1 in terms of CPM, it's then worked out by the effective CPM, which could be 0.75, so you could get 75 cents. And that's the current system. That's how it works.
Which has actually worked out pretty well, because there are a good few thousand people who can actually make their living off YouTube alone.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of people who make money off of YouTube, but the problem is the CPM has been the payback from it. It's a case of, yeah, you can put stuff on YouTube, but you could also put a poster on a wall in the middle of Times Square and get potentially more value back. And this is the thing that YouTube's been trying to deal with. And subscription service was the big thing that, to be honest, everyone should be expecting to come around eventually, because it means that you're then subscribing to a service, and then the money from the service...
I'm actually going to stop you for a second, Pete, so I'm going to stop you. One of the main reasons YouTube Red has come about is because there was some data released recently that shows that of all the advertisable videos on YouTube, 60% of them were viewed with an ad blocker installed.
Oh yeah, there's that as well.
Mm-hmm.
The ad blocker.
Yeah, so basically what's been happening is people have been ad blocking videos. The YouTube revenue from CPM has been going down because not many people are watching the adverts. YouTubers' CPMs have been going down in terms of how much money they get, and so consequently YouTube have needed to investigate a different model. Kind of like what we all predicted.
Things I have an ad blocker installed, but on the other hand, I only have things that are there. The only things that are blocked are things I've manually put onto a block list.
Yeah,
so,
if people did nice things like that and actually used ad block sensibly, I ad block anything you happen to read on the Daily Mail, so they can't get any advertising revenue from it. But if you have a favourite YouTuber or have a favourite blog or something that are struggling to make a living and could really use that CPM, unblock for them.
See, this is why we're actually all together. Despite Martin TK's vastly differing political views, we can both agree that the Daily Mail is a piece of shit.
Yeah. But
unless it runs a story about David Cameron fucking a pig, in which case it's the most reliable news source ever!
Yeah, but the ad blocker stuff is probably the biggest thing that YouTubers do have issues with. And the value of it going down. But it does...
Sorry, the main thing that some YouTubers are actually worrying about right now is exactly how the money is coming to them, because Google's been less than forthcoming.
Yeah, how they work it out.
No surprise, they haven't given all the information needed again.
They've barely given any.
Google don't like talking to people, apparently.
YouTube have actually only publicly confirmed the split will have the vast majority of revenue going to partners.
Yeah, the talk being potentially 50%, depending on who you listen to.
It's the same split as current, and currently it's 55 to the YouTubers and 45 to Google. Or Alphabet, technically now.
And some of them have gone, well, I'm a bit confused, and yeah, I'm being railroaded into this, but I honestly don't mind, because YouTube have made some, generally been okay with their decisions.
But effectively, the way it works out is, instead of it being an advertising pot with weighted advertisements, you now have your views actually weighting how much of the the subscription pot you'll get. So in general terms, if you are a largish platform that gets maybe 2, 3, 4, 5,000 views over that, you're not going to lose out. You're going to have a fine and dandy time because you're going to get more, if not the same, amount of views. If you're less than that, if you're less than the 1000 CPM anyway, you may as well go via the Patreon model because you're more likely to get funding from people who care.
With that, you're going to get utter dick from YouTube revenue.
Yeah, because the YouTube revenue is tiny, to be honest.
Because we have talked about YouTube's gaming contract as well, haven't we? Or haven't we?
No, we've not mentioned that.
No? Do you know the YouTube gaming service?
Yep.
Yes.
They have actually announced that they're not going to force people into exclusivity with them.
Meaning?
That's ironic.
With Twitch, if you stream games on Twitch and you actually sign up for the whole partnership thing, you're not allowed to stream gaming anywhere else.
Oh, yes. That stuff that people commented on but didn't really do much about that when it was mentioned the last time.
No, well, it hasn't really been that important. There weren't very many other game streaming services until recently.
Now, when you've got literally the world and its dog.
They're going, look, we don't care if you stream elsewhere. You know, you can still do your shit here and still claim your money.
Which makes sense.
Which does make sense.
But of course, Twitch, being owned by Amazon, go, no, we want your exclusivity because we want people to subscribe to the Twitch stuff like Twitch Turbo or to that. So, yeah, you're locked in. Sorry, guys. No more fun for you.
Yeah, it's a pain.
The big bag of dicks.
But in terms of YouTube Red, the worry has been the amount of revenue you get, and it's been looked at in terms of number of views rather than weighted on advertising. But people aren't kind of happy because smaller YouTube channels are still gonna have issues, but people keep forgetting that smaller YouTube channels are having issues anyway because the value of advertising has been going down and down and down, so it makes more sense to go via the Patreon model.
And look at Jim Sterling.
Yeah.
It has worked out quite well for him.
Because it means that you're actually getting, if they do say $1 a month, you're actually getting the dollar rather than 75 cents, which is what you could be getting maybe before Google's take on it. So it sounds interesting. People have been ragging on it. People have been saying, oh, there won't be a big take-up because it's not offering enough. I think if they get more exclusive content on top of the service you get as well with Google Music, it will stand a better chance because it's potentially a YouTube Netflix kind of thing. We're going to go out and look for the good content creators to do exclusive deals and then go from there, potentially.
And that's a big potentially.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to have YouTube Red anyway, not because I want it, but because I've got a Google Play Music subscription. Because I like Google Music. And so I'm being lumbered with a YouTube Red subscription when it comes out in the UK. Joy.
If and when. If and when, because we don't know when that is, because it's so far only in America, and there's a bunch of reasons why it's not yet going to be coming out in England.
They've already disabled one of my perks of Google Play, which Google Music, which I didn't even know I had, regarding YouTube. There was some stuff on there that I could have done on YouTube and watched, but didn't because I didn't know about it. And I've got an email recently saying that they're just disabled that, ready for when YouTube Red arrives in the UK. So it's coming. It is coming. Whether we want it or not, we're going to get it.
Well, it will be interesting for some other things like the Google tax and the attempt to get more money out of Google, because it will mean that there will potentially be more funds going directly to Google from England, which immediately means people will be going, no, we want that, because, you know, massive corporation, we can't let you have profits.
I mean, how dare you make money?
Because sense. But yeah, that's it for the I've got. Anything further you want to talk about, or is that everything wrapped up for news?
I've got plenty of things.
The email I got was, as part of your subscription to Google Play Music, you've had access to the YouTube Music Key Beta. We hope you enjoyed this additional feature. Why do they put it in such a light text on a white background, dickheads? We hope you enjoyed this additional feature. This email to let you know that on 30th of November, the Music Key Beta will be winding down and its features no longer available. There's no action needed from you, yada yada yada. During our beta, people told us that they wanted music key features to work with all YouTube videos, not just music. That's why we're launching the new YouTube Red membership in the United States, which provides the same benefits as key music and more across all videos. We're not quite ready to roll YouTube Red out globally, but we're working hard to bring YouTube Red in your country, and we'll let you know as soon as it is ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you had some more headlines, Felix.
I do. Harmonix employees have been caught posting Amazon reviews.
Oh, yes. Oh my god, I can't believe that.
Yeah, there are a whole bunch of Amazon reviews that have been discovered. Like, love this game. It brings back the core Rock Band gameplay experience we all know and love. There's been quite a few very similar things like this that turned out to be all Harmonix employees flocking to Amazon.
Yeah,
especially some of them. Once you know that some of them are actually written by Harmonix employees, they become even funnier. Like this one that I've got screenshotted here. I'm excited that Harmonix is committed to the game as a platform and can't wait to see what the team adds to the game in the months to come. Harmonix have sent out a statement to most of the media outlets saying, we have now clarified our internal policy about posting reviews of our own products on retail sites, and we've asked that existing reviews be edited to identify Harmonix employees or be removed entirely. While we believe the reviews posted by a few employees were sincere and without ill intentions, as a studio, we don't believe that these are appropriate actions. We appreciate the feedback from the community and take our relationship with our fans seriously.
Which is true, because, you know, it's stuff like this that can turn
And
people...
we'll be fair, you know, astroturfing and racing manipulations happen all the time across the industry. I just don't think these Harmonix employees realise that, you know, you're meant to make a fake account when you do this.
Oh dear. Anything you want to finish off with?
Oh, just one more thing quickly about this. I'm just looking at one of the news sites regarding it, and apparently before it was officially confirmed by Harmonix, people were thinking it was actually the Guitar Hero guys making the claim that Harmonix were posting about the review on their own product. Which I think is quite amusing. Especially as Guitar Hero Live is a big part of Dogshite.
Yeah. But that's a discussion for another time.
Well, I can do a short thing. There's also a slightly longer, slightly rambly bit about actually what happened to the story of Destiny.
Yeah, I saw the Kotaku story for that one. It's an interesting read. If you're wanting to go through it, it is an interesting read because it does kind of show the amount of stuff that can happen with a big studio trying to do a massive project and what happens when people go, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, but then again, Bungie have some of the things that happened there, you know, like they actually said to Joe Staten, you know, we could replace you with a fucking monkey to do the job. Because Bungie have never actually had a very nice relationship with their writers.
Yeah.
Always been rather dismissive of the design people over the developer people.
And this is why Destiny sucked when it first came out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not amazing now, but it is a lot better, a bit more cohesive.
It's a polished turd.
Some things don't.
Well, it's still a very solid shooter experience, and it has a lot of stuff.
When they scrapped the story, they actually did. Do you want to go into what some of this story was meant to be?
Briefly, we've got time still.
It's essentially where's the bits with the story?
If you've got time and it in front of you, then we'll go over.
We can. Essentially, the entire story was actually meant to revolve entirely around the giant AI Rasputin that you come across several times in the game, who mostly communicates with you through classical music, which was actually kind of fun. No? Hasn't anyone thought that?
Wait,
well, he's still
wasn't Destiny the big game thing where you were basically trying to stop the darkness by imposing the light?
Kind of.
Was it the one that MacPat recently did
Something
the game theory
like that.
on?
Essentially, it turned out that this thing called the Traveller who's a causality warping super being, has travelled throughout the galaxy, uplifting races, and eventually getting chased off by something called the Darkness, which seems to be intent on utterly destroying it. It finally came to Earth, and apparently it saw something in humanity that if I decided to try to fight back, it beat back the Darkness, but essentially sacrificed itself to protect humanity in the process. And with its dying thing, it basically let loose the ghosts, which are made of light, who then seek fallen warriors, revive them, and basically turn them into something to protect mankind whilst the Traveller can't.
Guardians.
Pretty much, yeah. And one of them is Nathan Fillion, starring as Nathan Fillion in a role only Nathan Fillion could play.
Written by and directed by Nathan Fillion?
That's...
No.
Ooh,
No.
blimey.
Although, I'm trying to think, has he actually said any of the things that he tries to get gets worked into any of his scripts?
I don't think so, but it's a long article. It's certainly an interesting read if you are a fan of Destiny, so go there and check it out at least to see what you think of it, because it does give a little insight into the development process of a game like this when things go tits up. But yeah, I think that's it then in terms of the news. So you do have any more music, TK?
Yeah, we do. You know they say you shouldn't hit a girl? Well,
Yes.
What if that girl's Chun-Li?
You run.
You run from the Thunder Thighs. This is a song, and it's called I Don't Fight Boys by Malkos and Red-Tailed Fox from the SE Remix crew. And it's Chun-Li Stage from Street Fighter 2.
You're listening to TigerTails Radio, giving Cards Against Humanity a run for its money. It's time for Quiplash.
That was a lie. It's actually time for...
It's that time where the cast of TigerTails Radio review stuff badly. This is done and dusted.
There we go, that's what's actually happening. It's
Yeah,
so rare.
where the video feed died, we basically did not set anything up for Quiplash. So
There is no
This
way of
is
setting
now-
up for Quiplash.
yeah, so we're now doing done and dusted. There's a couple of things that I have indeed done. One of which is done and dusted. The other which is going to take me so long to play, it's unbelievable. Both of which I'm fairly sure Felis has played. One of
Both
which
of
TK's... Yeah, both of which I'm fairly sure Felis has played. One of which TK watched me complete.
Yeah,
Because...
I saw the last 2 episodes. And
Yeah,
I've
the
seen
final-
some of the... I think it was episode 2 I saw some of as well.
yeah, I played episode 1 on the PS4.
Is this a Telltale game or?
Might be.
This is Telltale game.
Square
Telltale
Enix
game.
game?
Telltale game.
Is it what I'm thinking? Is it what I'm thinking?
Yes,
Because yeah,
I've
I haven't
completed
actually played
Minecraft
it all
Story Mode.
yet.
You've
Have
not?
you?
You've not played all of Tales of
No.
Borderlands?
No, Tales of Borderlands, yes.
Oh, good. Oh,
You
thank
actually
God.
seriously said Minecraft story mode then.
Oh,
No,
God, no.
Tales of the Borderlands. Oh my
I
God.
kind of want to play Minecraft story mode because it's got a whole. I'm not the only one that gets a Lego movie vibe from it, right?
Kind of. It does feel that way.
In the original, the first story trailer, the Order of the Stone.
It does.
No,
look interesting.
I haven't finished it myself, but I got to see Alex play the last part,
Yes.
and I just sat there going, "Yes, fuck yes,"
Yeah.
and I was
oh my
wrong
God.
about who the stranger was, and
Yeah,
I'm so
so
glad
was
I
I.
was wrong.
Yeah. So, Tales of the Borderlands is the Telltale story based on the Borderlands series, Borderlands 1 to the pre-sequel, and is telling the story after Borderlands 2. And a little
hasn't-
bit at the end of pre-sequel.
Yeah, 'cause
Now-
I'm actually trying to make sense of where a theme because it takes
Right.
place during the pre-sequel.
Before
Right,
we
so-
go
well,
in
the-
depth,
Yeah.
can we try and keep this as spoiler-free as possible for the benefit of those who have not yet played it and would wish to?
Yeah. Okay. So, what you will know is that this is after the end of 2. If you've played the pre-sequel, there will be a section in the series that pins it just before, in like the
That's why I said it takes place during
narrative
the
areas. Yeah,
pre-sequel,
it's not
because there's
during,
one
it's
point in
the
this,
narrative.
Yeah, there's one part of the story where it's already just before the beginning of the pre-sequel. Then by the final episode, it would have actually been after the pre-sequel, which then leaves us with questions as to what exactly has happened with the whole
Well,
Athena, the
no,
Iridian
it's-
warrior.
It's set during the period where she's telling the story of the pre-sequel. So it's a narrative
No, because she
link to
comes
a narrative
back
link.
after she's captured, which means she's been set free, which means it also takes place at both
Oh.
ends of the pre-sequel.
We establish that in as if you play through it, but the story tells the tale of Reese, a company man from Hyperion, because that still exists, and Fiona, a con woman from Pandora. And the con that they go into that goes wrong, progressively wronger, to the point where somehow they find the keys to a vault where they then go off on an adventure and things get worse through 5 episodes of utter chaos where you run into all of the characters, or well, not all,
Well, he
most of
said,
the characters.
the con, which basically is this, he didn't actually say, the con was to sell a fake vault key,
Yeah,
which then led to actually a real vault key.
a real vault key, and then much chaos. And you do have lots of cameos from the story characters that you've seen from the game. So you will have Zero appearing, you will have Athena, as we've mentioned, appearing. You will
Some
have
of the voices are inconsistent.
Zero near the final.
Zero's, yeah, in the final episode, his voice is completely different.
Don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah.
But you have all these characters coming in and telling this story, and it's a Telltale game, so you are given story options on speech, certain choices that diverged the story a little bit, although things can still happen to get to an end result. But the exact end result will be completely different if you've chosen different
Yeah,
choices.
the final episode is actually the most divergent from a main, the most divergent set of choices you've actually seen in a Telltale game.
Oh
Where
yeah.
so many things did make a difference to the point where it could change a large part of the action and narrative completely.
So it's a really fun thing to actually delve through. I've managed to complete one run of it. I'm looking to go back and do another run of it to record or stream or something.
Alex has said this is probably going to be the first ever Telltale game that he's actually going to go back and play again and make different choices.
Yeah. It's worth it just to see what happens, because there are key characters in the Telltale story, Tales of the Borderlands, that if you do certain things to them, you won't be able to have access to later on.
Although it was
Or
fun watching
you will.
Celine's face during the imaginary gunfight in episode 4.
I had to replay that so many times. Bloody
I just looked up from playing a game when Alex was doing it. I went, wait, what? What?
Yes.
And that turned out to be completely relevant in episode 5.
There are lots of random moments through this.
Especially
that
as Pete lost that gunfight a good few times.
many times. The quick time events.
Celine managed to do it first try, and she hates action sequences.
I'm playing it on keyboard or mouse on my laptop.
Borderlands, Cody. About how you completed the fight against the accountants.
The finger
First
bang
time.
fight, yeah.
Pete failed.
I will point
Hang on,
out...
bring Celine to the mic. I want to hear her laughter.
No.
No, she just sat there going, how did you fail that?
Bring it to the mic. I want to hear laughter.
No, I was playing this on my laptop, so I had the mouse interactions, the keyboard interactions, and the direction interaction. So I was... Every time I leant back, it was a case of, oh, that's fine, that stopped. Then started again.
Should have played it with the controller.
I should have, yeah. I probably will do the next playthrough, but I was so used to using mouse and keyboard. And it is... Yes. It is a very immersive story, and it does at least make you feel for the characters, because there were moments in this that I did have difficult choices in that really brief time where you had to go, damn you. And I think you do feel a bit more, especially towards the final episode when you have the resolution of Reese and his passenger, on how you deal with that. That was quite interesting. And oh my god, what is it with Telltale and
important cast members?
Important cast members. So let's go through a
We've
list
got
of
to
important
mention
cast
the
members.
other main characters. So we have Reese, Hyperion Stooge.
Yep.
His strangely ripped friend Vaughn.
Who's an account?
I've forgotten his name.
He has the most change. There's August. There
No,
is
I was thinking about your primary antagonist in the series, the first one.
Vasquez?
Vaughn.
I thought Vaughn was his friend.
No, Vaughn was from Vasquez. Yes, sorry, TK was right.
Oh, Vasquez,
Vasquez.
yes, who is played wonderfully by Patrick fucking Warburton.
Yep.
Yeah, TK.
Or
recognised
if you're
him. I had to look him
TK,
up.
Kronk.
Yeah.
If you're everyone else, Joe Swanson and the Tick.
No, for me it was Kronk. I could just hear him going, why is Kronk saying these things?
And you just have so many different ways of how you deal with him. Yay. There's also Sasha, which is the sister, adopted.
Who sounds like she was born on Elpis, which is Space Australia.
Now that's Janie. That's Janie. She does make an appearance, along with Athena, Zero.
Sasha actually sounds a bit like she came from Elpis.
Not that
She
badly.
has that slight Australian thingy going on for her voice compared to Fiona.
A bit of a
And-
twang.
and-
Because they're not actually sisters, they're no
Yeah.
orphans raised as.
Sisters. By guy who I didn't spend much time worrying about, so he disappeared in the background. Random scientist guy who disappeared in the background. August, who is Nolan North. And by the time you get to the end, you go, yep, it's a good pick for it. You do have recurring characters, as we've mentioned. You also have people like, that annoying guy from the Pirates level who runs the museum.
Him.
Yeah,
I just call him Creepy Two Flower because
he's creepy too far, and things can indeed happen to him. You have Scooter. You have.
Oh man.
Yeah, you have a few others. That it wasn't Wash, but oh my god. And it's really good fun.
That heart could have meant anything. You just confirmed it for everyone.
Unless they never watch Firefly, in which case go out and watch Firefly, and then once you finish watching Firefly, go out and watch Serenity, and then when you finish watching Serenity, play Tales of Borderlands.
Buy Leaves on the Wind, so you get the story after Serenity.
Yeah, and then play Tales of the Borderlands, and then when you get to that point and you're blubbing like a girl, you can blame us. Because we're evil. So yeah, it's a brilliant story. Yes.
How do Reavers clean their spears?
Stop it.
They put them through the wash.
It's a very good story.
It's still too soon.
As Alex mentioned, it is a game worthwhile going back and playing it, and this is compared to things like the Back to the Future one, the Wolf story. I can't remember.
Wolf Among Us.
Wolf Among Us. Game of
Alex
Thrones.
did complain about the ending.
What,
the very
for
ending.
Tales for the
He
Borderlands.
felt like that the very ending didn't really resolve anything. He complained that it faded to black.
Well, it kind of has to, because the third game is coming once Battleborn has been done, and that
I'm now thinking that, Loda, Sasha, Fiona and Reese might actually be the next Vault Hunters.
Well, there's a big collection, and to be honest, the only Vault Hunter out of them was Fiona.
Actually,
Reese is a
thinking of the
guy.
ending.
Yeah, but the rest of them actually...
Yeah, go on, Phyllis. Finish your thing.
I was going to say, by the point it reaches the ending, each one of these characters, one of them was an absolute badass who was played for laughs as well. Yeah, and the other two have actually they've actually grown to the point where you go, I can legitimately believe they can kick ass now.
Although I've still yet to play the differences. But yes, you were saying, TK.
Yeah, the ending, the very ending, kind of, not the very, very ending, but the bit just before the very ending, kind of annoyed me slightly. Because they handled a very similar situation in episode 4 very well. And that something happens to a character. I think you know who I mean and what happened, if you've played it. And then a similar circumstance, not the exact specifics, but the fact that a character was about to have something happen to them.
Oh yeah.
That then happened, and then unhappened.
That specifically happened because of choices I made. I know that much.
But the
Are we talking about time healing all wounds?
Yeah, that specifically happened because of choices I made.
Because you can actually get rid of...
Time healing all wounds, yes, we know.
Yeah.
It's a specific thing.
It very much felt like it was a Deus Ex Machina. Oh look, now everything's okay again.
It was a Doctor Who episode moment, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
and it kind of annoyed me that way. It's like, if you're going to make these decisions, own them and keep that situation as it is.
Well, I'm going to see if I can do that. That's my next playthrough.
I see. Well, if you can, I'll be happier. But
I won't.
You can actually lock out a lot of people showing up for the end.
Oh, yeah. And if you don't spend any of your money, because you can get money in this game, you will fangasm. You will fangasm.
Oh, who is it? Cryptic hint.
Cryptic hint. Well, you know that there are Vault Hunters that still exist.
Yeah.
So yeah, you pay for them to turn up. In the awesome fighting, TK was screaming, "Why can't you do a shuriken" moment?
Wait,
3 Vault Hunters if you have enough money.
I was kind of thrown off by the symbol. Now I know what it is. Wait. You do that little flying uppercut.
I had
No,
TK.
it was during that
screaming. Yeah,
I
had
wasn't
TK
screaming. I was doing shoryukens in all the appropriate places.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to do that? Sure you can.
Oh dear.
Oh,
But that was Tales of the Borderlands. If you've not gotten it, get it. It's a very good Telltale's game. It's probably the best that's kept me playing, even though
it has been the funniest, most. I would say it's definitely the funniest one so far. As far as the level of empathy you have for the characters, it actually does come very close to The Walking Dead.
I'd quite like to see it rendered as a movie. Just all the episodes in together, maybe cut down slightly for time, but actually put together in one big long FMV sequence that we can just sit back and watch.
Well, I'm going to do a playthrough.
That'd be quite awesome.
I'm going to do a playthrough, so it'll be interesting. But especially if you've played like the Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead, this is a brilliant one to do afterwards because, oh my god, even with the down notes, you will still feel good at the end of this. But that's Tales of the Borderlands. The next one I want to move on to, TKE has not played. Felix has played more than me, and this is a tiny little game called Rebel Galaxy. That isn't tiny.
Just before you get onto that, I just want to play a
It's
quick
surprisingly
jingle.
not tiny.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
I'm just going to play a quick jingle because we've only had 2 so far, and this one is the important one, so I should probably play it.
Yay!
TigerTails Radio. Be part of it. Chat in IRC. Tweet us at TigerTails Radio. Or like our Facebook page. Visit tigertailsradio.co.uk.
There we go, and that was the jingle. I like them. Every now and again, they feel important. So yes, on to your next thing. It was called
Rebel Galaxy.
Which sounds a bit Star Wars-esque.
Seeing as we mentioned Watch Firefly earlier.
Yeah, so this is a space game similar to Elite, crossed with the pirate battle game off of Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
The last good Assassin's Creed game, yes.
Yep, and combined with Firefly-esque motifs, a large amount of Western music.
They actually did all of the original music for that. They specifically required for things that were evocative of Firefly. And the rest of it was provided by the actual band Blues Saraceno,
No idea
who do a
they
lot of Wild West sort of themed stuff.
Ah, I see.
Like I said, it sounds a lot like Bon Jovi, but like the good days when he did Wanted Dead or Alive and Blaze of Glory.
Yeah.
Not the really
So-
shitty parts of his career.
You play as yourself, as far as I can tell, a guy who's basically given a ship called the Rasputin by his aunt Juno, who's asked you to bring the ship to the wild west of
Friend
space.
of hers.
A friend.
Yeah,
I
pretty
thought
much
it was
the ass
aunt.
end of space.
Yeah. And you are then introduced to a bunch of people who may or may not be allies, friends of your aunt. You're given a relic, which is junk, and then you're told, yeah, your ship is naff, go do stuff to fix it up, otherwise you'll get blown out of the sky. Which will happen, especially if you follow the story missions without paying attention. Because this is...
Yeah, the last mission of the first system does really ramp up.
Yeah, it is an Elite style game where you have to upgrade your ships.
But locked to a 2D plane, and unlike most space sims, has a really nice, super saturated, colourful look to everything.
Oh yeah, it's very, very colourful.
Which I like that. Yeah, given
And-
that it takes a good 40 to 50 seconds to go from one side of a system to another.
Yeah. And the gameplay mechanics is very much like Assassin's Creed. You are navigating on a 2D plane rather than a 3D plane. The only things that really travel through a 3D plane are fighters, which I'll get back to. But you fly a capital ship, effectively, and you have broadsides.
Yeah, you
and
start off
missiles.
with a corvette, and then you go up to, your light frigates, your destroyers, dreadnoughts.
Yeah, the
Yay,
typical
dreadnoughts.
progression of ships. And in order to get those ships, you have to do jobs, trade commodities if you really care, and collect on bounties, because there are many, many pirates in this world, all of whom don't like you, all of whom get progressively more annoyed by you.
And their friends
And-
don't like you either.
Yeah, because this is a system of scum and villainy, and you will just bimble around this universe, running into pirates being attacked by the militia, who are the good guys, or citizenry who are trying to do their jobs. You know, it's like traders just looking to trade and they're getting attacked, and you can randomly help them out. You'll have
Guild. Nice perks.
Yeah. You'll have missions to travel to do mining, missions to travel to take out people who are attacking miners, missions to deliver goods, missions to hunt people down, missions from the pirates to hunt other pirates down, or
You can
militia.
even break up blockades around trading stations as well.
What, you mean those mines that insistently hit you?
No, when you have a whole fleet around a station trying to stop people from getting in. You know, like when you do the dead drop missions.
Oh, well, every single time I turn up to a place and there's just all of the pirates ever.
Yeah, those are actually... They'll stay there and stop trade to that station. If you actually break a blockade, you can actually notice, oh, look, there's a tech station, and suddenly everywhere else has really cheap tech again.
I'm going to wait till I've upgraded my ship a bit for that one. And there is lots of little things that you can do. The main campaign tells an interesting
40
story.
hours.
Yeah, it's an interesting story,
Well,
but it's...
It tells an interesting because a certain duo are behind it, which would be Travis Baldry and Eric Schaefer,
Yeah.
who you might remember from Torchlight.
Ew. Yes, they did say Torchlight.
Yes. Because
But
they
the-
left Runic Games earlier on this year specifically to do this game. Because they'd never ever touched a space sim before, and they wanted to.
Yeah, and now they have, and all of my time. But the difficulty curve on this does ramp up a lot if you're not doing the typical explore mission grind. It really does ramp
I
up.
found it actually kind of slightly depends on your style of play. Because
You
I can take out capital ships that are 5 times my size.
Yeah,
But if I run into a fighter swarm, I am fucked.
Yeah, you can play the game certain ways so that it is easier. Fighters are the biggest pain in the world because these are one-man, two-man vessels that are bombers, gunships, you name it. And
Mine layers later on.
yeah. And they will fly around you, above you and under you. And as you would expect, a large number of these with guns can whittle your shields down to nothing very quickly. So you do end up
Can get specific hull armors that actually reduce the damage you'll take from fighters.
eventually, but they are always a worry. They're always a concern that you have to deal with. If you don't, then the capital ships have a much easier time of taking you out because these things are just going whittle, missile. But you do have ways around it. You've got lots of different turrets, weapons.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up
shields.
because there's actually a kind of scarcity of ship types in the game. There are only about 27 different types of ship.
He says scarcity and then puts a significant double figure down on the table.
Well, usually, quite a lot of these games have got like a huge array of ranging from your small fighter to your specific trading ships to everything else.
Well, original Elite, you're probably talking about similar numbers. It's only been since...
The original Elite, yeah, that was a 16-bit game, so...
Well, even Frontier, Elite Frontier didn't have that many. It's only been the most recent ones with the advent of...
yeah, where
Star
they
Citizen.
did actually put all of the sheer number of upgrades, turret types, broadside weapons, missiles you can actually attach to your ship, as well as hiring wingmen.
Yes, you can hire mercenaries, which cost money, so you have to go do missions. It's a very, very progressive game, but it's simple. It's not...
I think what I like is it's not overly punishing.
Yeah.
It will auto-save each and every single time you enter and exit a space station.
Yeah. So
And,
you won't have to worry about insta-death.
No.
You'll go back relatively quickly.
And you're relatively free to actually play around with your ship loadout, because the way it works if you buy a new ship or a new weapon is you don't have to pay money every single time, because you sell back your old gear at the same cost you bought it at,
Yeah.
and ships.
You can trade stuff in, which makes more
Yeah.
sense than some
Which makes it a
games.
lot less punishing to actually try out. Just like, I want to see what if I can use his rockets as his main weapon. And if you want to go back after it doesn't work out for you, you won't have to pay fuck tons because of the whole
Yeah.
You know, your stuff is worth less even if you bought it 5 seconds ago.
And probably the best thing is this is a game that is a very good sci-fi spaceship game. It's out now, and it's less than 15 quid.
And it's surprisingly small as well. It's a 2 gig download.
Yeah, that surprised me for what I was playing. And it runs on my laptop with no issues on the highest settings, which is very nice.
And it's very gamepad friendly. Very much.
Thank
And the soundtrack, you may or may not like it. You know, biker outlaw country rock style soundtrack. So you
I've
know,
not
a
gotten
bit of
sick of it yet.
Firefly style.
Yeah. I've not gotten sick of it yet. So it's
Negotiate
well worth a purchase.
Like I said, you can actually negotiate as well. Or as the original trailer put it, your options are agree, decline, really decline. But one of my favourite moments was I accidentally made a mission unwinnable for myself.
Okay.
Because I told a whole fleet of other guys that they should stand down. And they did, and were thus no longer targetable.
And you were supposed to destroy them.
I was, yes. I meant to tell them to go to hell, but accidentally chose the whole, you know, you really want to mess with me.
I had that problem with with the Tales of the Borderlands. It was like, I didn't want to pick that option. Why? I wanted to be... No, not fair.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was Rebel Galaxy. It's a good fun game. You can get it on Steam now for less than 15 quid.
It is. Some of the voice acting's a bit weird.
It's interesting because it's
You'll get
actually...
that one pirate who always shouts out, "You're tearing me apart,
Yeah.
Lisa."
The pirate's repetitive, but the NPCs on the station, especially the...
Yeah, it's very much the samey voices on the stations.
Well, I don't mind.
But,
It's all alien language. I think it's awesome.
Each escort you can get, they're all very different sounding. They all have personalities. You've got a guy that's basically Zaid from Mass Effect.
Oh, God.
And you've got a Russian-sounding robot. You have an Irish lass who has capital-class weapons on a fighter.
Oh, my God.
And as you go from system to system, you can actually basically dismiss them and then pay the higher-priced version of them. It's actually a really nice feature, actually. 'Cause there are only 7 NPCs you can take with you in total.
Okay. Well, I've not even touched that yet.
Yeah, you can actually go to the bar and talk to somebody else, but sometimes there's actually an exact duplicate of them sitting there. And they'll say, no,
Nice.
you can't talk to this. It's like, you might cause some kind of paradox. Don't fuck with causality, son.
Causality! Well, that's
I
it.
reject your causality.
The only other thing that we can actually talk about then is probably then Doctor Who and how it's been going. Or not, as the case may be.
I've been enjoying it in part. And that's, I've been enjoying the acting. I think Peter Capaldi's done a very good job.
Oh, God, yeah.
I've been enjoying some of the cinematography. It's all very competently shot. It looks rather nice. And there are some lovely vistas every now and again.
Yeah.
What I don't like is the writing.
No.
Oh my god. Can we please get some decent story arcs? Please. Pretty please. It used to be so easy. What happened? Where did all the good go?
I don't understand why they've done it the way they've done it with the storylines, because it
Listen, I think I'm 2 episodes behind now.
yeah,
Because I just sat at the end of the episode going, and then Doctor was Ghost. And I actually go, but who was Phone?
yeah, it's not brilliant. I mean, it started off with the lots of Master Missy stuff and the things going on with the Daleks, which then got killed again. And
You see, a sewer system that's made up entirely of decaying, enraged Daleks was so much scarier than the bumper cars of the asylum of the Daleks.
yeah. But unfortunately, that's kind of the problem he has. He's made the Daleks into more of a joke than an actual...
Yeah, like I said, the whole point, the whole asylum of the Daleks is where,
Oh.
you know, the Daleks are so mad, even other Daleks fear them. Oh my god, what are they going to do? Bump into each other, mostly.
Yeah. And you don't get a sense of proper fear from any of these kind of current villains. It's all, oh well, they're a bit near, kind of. It's all they're a bit near. And I just don't get it. I mean, I've seen a couple of the two-parters now with TK.
Well, it's been nothing but two-parters so far, right?
Well, we've
Well,
had a
ish.
filler. We've had a filler, which was this most recent one.
The most recent, they do kind of tail on from one another, but they're not necessarily the
Yeah.
same story, if that makes sense. It's not really a true two-parter in that sense, but it is kind of the same character cropping up twice type
Yeah.
thing.
Potentially for something in the future, maybe, but no one really cares
And
about her. 'cause
massive
why?
Deus Ex Machina machine being used entirely too early.
Yeah, although...
A Deus Ex Machina machine
Yeah,
is activated with a pin number.
no, it's activated by inserting it into somebody's forehead.
Yeah. And
You say that now.
machine, I don't mean actual physical machine. What I mean is, you know, a device, a MacGuffin,
You mean the plot device?
a Deus Ex Machina
Literally.
MacGuffin.
Literally plot device. Especially when you sit there and understand the what they're talking about in terms of the actual mythology when they start talking about it, because they start going on about death and life energy, and you sit there and you go, what? Understanding none. Why? What? Why? And as usual, the Doctor knows everything that's going on about this in certain ways, with very little need to actually see or understand what's happening.
In the previous episode, the Vikings one, that was less of a case. The Doctor was very much, I ain't got a fucking clue what we do for most of the episode, then kind of goes on, oh, hang on a minute, I've had a thought, maybe this will work. And for the most part it does, but then it doesn't, which then leads into the event that then it causes the things that happen in the next episode.
Yeah. Being vague for a reason, because there are some people who may want to watch the travesty that I think is currently Doctor Who.
Yeah, I think the number's just dropping off because...
He's messing up the fans that he currently got, the old fans, and any sci-fi people in general.
yeah,
I
and
think,
everyone in
like,
between.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's just a big conspiracy so we can ditch Doctor Who and get back to writing Sherlock.
Oh, you think at the end he's going to reveal a troll face?
No, I just think he's going to get Doctor Who canned. And then go,
Oh,
right, well now I've
probably.
got time to work on Sherlock.
And then all the Sherlock fans go, yay, Sherlock, when's it coming out? Another 2 years.
Oh.
No!
At least don't make it shit like you did Doctor Who. That's our only request. You've
Yeah,
been
but
good
you
at
know-
Sherlock so far. Keep that
You
up.
know he's going to get fanboy over it if he manages to do it dedicatedly. He's brilliant if he doesn't have to spend all his time and energy on making a bloody great big song and dance of it, which is what I think Doctor Who's become. It's like
Well,
a massive sonic dance.
Luckily with Sherlock, he's got source material to work from, so he's kind of reined in. Whereas Doctor Who, it's kind of a free-for-all.
That and the fans, I think, are a bit more rabid for Sherlock.
I think they should go back and redo some of the audiobooks.
Yeah.
Because then
Oh,
we'll get
actually,
Anthony
speaking
Head
of the-
as a
speaking
fucking
of the-
Time Lord.
Speaking of the audiobooks, David Tennant's coming back. For 3 episodes, audiobooks, with Catherine Tate.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was on the news sites about 11 hours ago. So it's been recently
Yeah.
revealed.
Although where that sits in the continuity of anything now, I don't know, because
During Tennant's
Moffat's...
continuity, obviously.
Yeah, that's now has to be a thing, isn't it? It's like, it's not the continuity of the Doctor Who verse, it's during the time of Tennant, the rules were this. And
You
then
mean
they were
Central
not.
Tenant?
Oh, Phineas. But that's my big issue. It's turned into... I've always had the feeling that it's been fan fiction for Moffat, as in he's writing his version of fan fiction for Doctor Who.
Which it pretty much is. It's officially
Rather-
sanctioned fan fiction.
Yeah, rather than actual proper episodes.
Yeah. But on that note, on that slightly angry, exasperated note, it is time to end the show.
Oh my god, we've managed to get to 10 o'clock.
Yeah. but I was looking for a convenient time to get you there. I said, shut up. Which just goes to show that just goes to show we can still do it. We don't need Quiplash to survive.
No.
I just love it so much.
It just feels. So yeah, next week we'll be back at 8 o'clock.
Hopefully next week we'll have a camera.
Next week will have me.
Yeah, it will be the first week of November. First days of November.
Basically, just expect us to go, how was your week prepping for NaNoWriMo? What did you do? We prepped. What have you done today? About 1,000 words.
Preferably more.
What are you going to do tomorrow? Cry.
Cry about how we've now managed to increase tomorrow's word count by not doing enough words today.
You actually get to see me on the show the first week of November, all clean shaven and bright-eyed.
Yeah.
And then as the month goes on, you actually see me become more unshaven,
dishevelled,
even worse bags under my eyes.
Yep. We go right downhill. Work's going to go, are you feeling okay? And I'm going, need, sleep, must, write.
So hire ghost writers.
Yes. You will be watching the slow descent into madness.
Well,
Fortunately,
what would be cool is if during the shows during that NaNoWriMo period, we can actually read a little bit of what we've written that week, just to kind of keep an impetus on us writing. You know, like 500 words or so. Yeah, a good like couple of minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes or so is worth of stuff.
Yes. So seeing as we will actually have written stuff by that month,
it's slightly harder for me because some of it would just be straight up dialogue scripts without context, and
that's fine. You still have to put in direction.
Yeah, and you get to do the natty voices.
Scene stage. Yeah, if you're writing a script, you're still going to be putting in scene setting and direction, because that's what Shakespeare would do. He would put certain cues and scene settings to make sense.
Stage left.
Yeah. So it's not difficult. Just copy the bard. But yeah, I mean, if we then say now, because we know what Felix is doing, he's doing
now. How does that help?
Game story. What we're doing. Yeah.
Now.
Felix is doing a game story. We're not going to read our own stuff. We're just going to.
We're just saying now because you told us to.
So Felix is doing a game story, yes?
Yeesh.
Or game script. Yeah. TK, what are you doing?
I'm continuing on the work I've been doing for many years about the denizens of the Riverbridge areas in my little story world. In fact, no, I'm actually in Windrush at the moment. It's a different district.
Is this the same book, or is this gone on to the 5th or 6th novel?
No. It's all part of the same story. I don't know. It's supposed to be the second book. The second book is dragging its heels a bit in terms of actually getting to the end point. So I'm trying to shunt it along and then trying to work out which bits of the middle to get rid of. And it might be because there's quite a lot of important plot building in the middle bit, but there's quite so much of it from a few perspectives. So I may take those perspectives out and do their own companion stories to go in that same timeline. Just basically so I can narrow the focus of the individual books down to where there's to like a few lead characters as opposed to having a big disjointed mess.
Yeah, that sounds similar to what I've been doing.
If you have a huge ensemble cast, then you kind of really need to have a really good villain that ties them all together.
You don't need a villain to tie them all together. You need motivations.
Yeah, I've got politics.
Yeah. Read Game of Thrones.
That's the villain. Politics itself is a villain.
Politics is a very good motivator. Sometimes you will need to have separate motivators for different characters to keep them in the same story, but that can easily be done by, killing someone's sister, and seeing as your book is filled with people getting killed
left,
randomly,
right and centre.
That's not a problem for
I
you.
find that the problem is if you have a huge cast and you try to give them all their own motivations that aren't tied into the central plot, then it tends to wander off in all sorts of directions to the point where some of these guys might have all had their own books without being in this.
Oh yeah, I mean that can indeed happen. That can indeed happen. It's just what you focus on, I suppose. But I'm writing.
I think that's. I was going to say, I think that's why Final Fantasy VI and the Avengers worked. The first Avengers worked a lot better because Final Fantasy VI had the biggest cast of any Final Fantasy game, and it was all tied together by the villain more than anyone else. He gets more speaking parts than most of the characters.
Oh yeah.
Only 2 characters speak more than him in the game.
And one of them's your lead character?
it's really hard to figure out who the lead character of Final Fantasy 6 even is.
Oh, I see.
And you'd think it's Terra.
Yeah, it's Terra because she's
But-
the one that comes out.
Well, no, she's the focus of the plot.
Yeah, she's not necessarily the main
The
character.
lead character is actually more Celes. Especially after the World of Ruin, she's the one that actually, gets everyone together, has the most speaking parts, gives the big old World of Cardboard speech at the end before you kick
You
Kefka's
can
ass.
generally tell who the lead character is because the lead character doesn't have their own theme.
Ah.
That's the problem. Everyone had their own theme. Nobuo Uematsu is a fucking genius when it comes to it, because, for example, you've got two twin brothers in that game.
No, I
And
know
they've
virtually
both
nothing
got their
about
own separate. Basically, they've got their own separate themes. Except both of their themes have a similar compositional style to them,
Yeah.
where it repeats one part twice. That you're going to expect to repeat this third time, but then it just stutters, goes to a different bit, and then returns. Even though it's two completely different tunes, they both have that same little motif to them. It's like you don't even know that they're twin brothers at that point.
Cunning.
So
Crazy.
yeah, it's the same thing with Kefka. His tune actually goes down a couple of notes each time he appears, and it becomes. That's why his entire theme is 26 minutes fucking long. Because Kefka at the beginning is shown as a comedy villain, and then you see that he's got more plots going on. His theme changes. That Nobuo Uematsu really likes G minor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the basis for almost all of his stuff.
Heard more on that on a different show because tonight we have to end it.
Yeah, this is something I've gone about for a good couple of hours.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
That's a separate podcast all in itself. So, on that note, it is a goodbye from the Xavier.
Goodbye.
A goodbye from the Felis.
Goodbye. Nicely timed. I'll say I puff my pipe.
Oh, why not? And it's a goodbye from myself, TK. Thank you very much for listening to the Shenanigan Fest of an episode of TigerTails Radio. Normality will hopefully return next week, where we
No,
may
it won't.
even have some cast in the studio. You never know your luck.
But for a given definition of normality, anyway.
Yeah, well, normality for us. And on that note, it's bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.